I've always liked playing PlayStation and getting trophies, but sometimes I get decision paralysis on which games I should play, either for fun or trophies. So I decided to do this based on true trophies. You can set the ratio to basically find the easiest trophy for every game, but also you can add every game from PS Plus to your game library, and then every game that you could possibly play for free, it will tell you where the easiest trophies are. Unfortunately, a lot of the easiest trophies on here are all the same level, so there is no particular order for the first few, but I'm just going by what True Trophy says. I download the first game on the list, download it. It's called Elder Souls, as you'd see in the cutscene. You get a cutscene like you'd expect. You're in a trip on a boat. You get off the boat. And look at that. Trophy popped. First trophy done. On to the next one. I realise I'm going to spend a lot of my time downloading games and waiting for them to finish installing before I can actually get the trophies. Anyhow, on to the next one. This is Ember. As you can see, it's about firefighting. I quickly get into the game, go through a tutorial. I realise there's a bit more content to this one than the previous, and you go through a generic tutorial level of what the game will be like. You do some fun things, I guess. It took me a while to figure some things out, and I procrastinated around the level before finding out what I was actually supposed to do. Turns out this is a pretty alright game.
Alright, future responder. Time to prove you've got what it takes. Step 1.
As you'd expect,
Fighting fire.
you get a hose, you can fill it up in sinks, you fight fires, you get an axe, smash through stuff. And then there's other things like ladders and other things that you'd expect firefighters to be doing. That's pretty much the game. After the tutorial, it throws you straight into a mini level, I guess you'd call it, in which there's a small fire of rubbish. You put out that fire, trophy pops. On to the next one. Okay, Blasphemous 2. You get a pretty nice looking cutscene on this one. And then you get into the game, and straight away I was feeling a bit uneasy about this one. The 2D side-scroller fighting type game. As soon as I got into it, you choose a weapon, you fight a ghost maybe, sort of thing. Then you do some side-scrolling jumping sorts of things, and then straight away you're put into your first boss. I fought the boss, I died. I fought him again, I died again, I cut that out, and then a few more times. And then I realised there was a slide button. I'll show you the fight where I actually found out that there was a slide button and I win. I wasn't expecting a 2D Dark Souls type game to be top of the easy trophy list. But there you go. Beat him eventually, on to the next one. I did also continue this game until I found a checkpoint, which was about 30 seconds after I beat the boss, because there was no way I'm redoing that again. Okay, the next one, Tales Noir, a game with lots of animals. There are no humans, everyone's a different type of animal. You're thrown into Act 1, which is a sort of tutorial level sort of thing. You start in your house, you get shown some controls, you just click about and learn by doing, I guess. I didn't really read too much of the text, but in this game there is a lot of text. I didn't really read that much of it, I just click through and tried to get to the next part. Every now and then you get to a screen where you can move things about and solve puzzles, but for the most part just a lot of clicking and talking. You get given your first case, I guess, as a detective, and then you're thrown into the world. You walk around the world and talk to certain people. I talked to this one guy, moved on. Turns out after a lot of talking, the first guy I spoke to was who I was supposed to speak to progress. But you had to speak to someone else to prompt the correct text to be able to move on. Anyway, once I found that out, I got into a club. I spoke to a whole 2 people in that club before I got kicked out of the club. And then I started to realise everything you do is part of the story and you can't really go wrong. After I got kicked out, I spent a good amount of time trying to find the right person to speak to. Eventually I found them, and I just had to do a favour for a guy, which was to be mean to another guy so that I could climb on his roof. Climbed on his roof, got back into the club. And then another mechanic of the game opened up where you have to sneak. I did some sneaking, I got caught. You just get reset back to where you started the sneaking. I sneaked again. Eventually you get through to an intercom, you click some things, you get into a kitchen, you do some other things, you work out the secret code for the lock, and then you find a dead body. That's pretty much the end of the chapter. You escape the club, and then trophy pops. This one took me far too long, almost 40 minutes I think. Again, not the easiest trophy. On to the next one. On to a lighter note, we're now playing a kids game. Luckily, I had a 4-year-old sat next to me, so I let her play so I don't have to. Eventually, not even eventually, 5 minutes in, you collect 3 bones, you get given a mission. Trophy pops, tutorial complete. That's 5 trophies done. I'll leave it there for this one. If you like this, I'll do some more. I normally like to complete games, but I guess I'll be opening up a load, and eventually I'll get back to them once the difficulty increases and the next easiest trophy on the game comes up.